Yeah, so this morning I was thinking about just getting on with stuff. The idea of just getting on with it. And I was watching TikToks this morning, and sometimes you see a sad TikTok and then you see another, and you keep getting into this cycle of seeing these TikToks that make you feel sorry for yourself. Sometimes you get fed up of seeing them. And it just made me think, yeah, sometimes you do got to pick yourself up and just get on with it. Sometimes you just got to go. Sometimes you just got to say, no, listen, we're getting on with it, we're doing it, and that's it. It's as simple as that. And sometimes it is that simple. And I think you got to pick and choose when you do that. But I think not the majority of the time, I think from my experience, if you develop that skill of just being like, I'm going to get on with it. Yeah, I'm going to stuff all these emotions down. I'm just going to get on with it. I'm going to ignore emotion and just do and just act. Sometimes, yeah, that is great. And I think it's great to have that as a skill. I don't think it's great to use that all the time. I don't think it's healthy for yourself to always be like, well, what we're going to do is we're just going to get on with it. We're not going to think about it. We're not going to deal with our emotions for the rest of our life. We're just going to get on with it. Yeah, that's not healthy. But sometimes when you're a bit stagnant, when you're feeling sorry for yourself too much, all inside, and you're all in your own head, it's kind of like procrastination. Sometimes you just got to be and say, what are we doing? Why are we sat here doing this? Sometimes I find myself getting to the gym, sitting in the car park, getting my phone out, having to, reply to someone, and then you go on TikTok and you have a scroll, and you go, oh, can't be asked going in the gym here. Let's just keep on scrolling. And you have to say to yourself, listen, get a grip, get on with it. You know what I mean? You've not got a lot of time. Put your phone down, get out the car and go. In that situation, it's like, yeah, get a grip. When you've got other situations when it comes to emotions, it's where it gets a bit complicated, because especially us as men, we do just want to naturally just get on with it. And sometimes it's not the best option. But when a task has to be done, that's why I think it's good to almost have that skill of, we'll just get on with it, because sometimes jobs need doing. Sometimes it's just the principle of, and the fact of like, no, this needs doing. We can't sit around and be in our emotions all the time. There's a balance for sure. And you look at older generations and what you would class as tough men who don't talk about their emotions. They do just get on with it. And absolutely, that is needed in society. And you don't have to talk about your emotions all the time. You do have to act, and at the end of the day, things need doing. But every now and again, you can express your emotions and still get on with it. That's a key thing with what I think and talk about when it's let's talk about our emotions. It's not let's just sit around and talk about our emotions, which is ironic because that's all I'm doing here. But you've got to act and then talk about your emotions. That's how I feel about it. While you're doing stuff, talk about how you're feeling. Don't stop doing stuff and be like, yeah, right, we're going to sit around and just talk about stuff. That's not productive. That's not what you want, because you can still do things. When it comes to me, and this was another thing I was thinking about this morning. When it comes to me, and I think about my diet. Think about my carnivore diet where I basically just eat mince most of the time. I've changed it now, so I am eating pretty much just mince most of the time. But, there's other little things in there, but the main substance of what my diet is just mince. Mince in the morning, mince at night, mince at dinner. It can get boring, it can get repetitive, and I can understand how people can look at that and say, how the hell are you doing that? Do you not miss pasta? Do you not miss pizza? Do you not miss burritos and tacos and fish and sushi? And, there's so much. When I'm on this diet, there are so many foods that I realize now that I absolutely love. And that, yeah, I do miss. And I'll have every now and again, don't get me wrong. But, then you say, oh, so you're only on mince, how boring is that? And I say, just get on with it. How do you do it? I think people always think, how do you just do that? How do you just have mince? It's like, just get on with it. You can, for me, if you're looking for pleasure in food, you've not got a whole lot of pleasure in your life. And I think there's so much possibilities, there's so many options for having a good time, for experiencing pleasure, to experiencing joy, that really you need it in your food. It's an easy way, absolutely, but it's a way for me that I see that when you're doing that, it's temporary because you're taking it from the next day. If I go get a Mackey's, absolutely feels great, it's delicious, but then the next day I feel like shit, I feel lazy, and it's like this sacrifice. Whereas there's so many other pleasures in life that you can do where it's not taking from you as well as giving. And yeah, I'm not perfect. I go and have a Mackey's sometimes. I've been very good recently. I've not been going at all. I've sort of stopped it. But when you realise that there's so many other ways to have joy, that's where you can go, we'll just get on with it. We'll just eat this food. At the end of the day, it's not bad. I'm not sat there gagging. I'm not sat there struggling to eat it. It's just like, well, yeah, burgers again. Yeah, mince again. And it's that simple. And sometimes things in life are just that simple. Sometimes we can sit down and write things in a notebook and make a plan. I saw a video this morning, some fella saying, yeah, you need to make a plan to get things in life. And I disagree. Sure, a plan helps. Absolutely, a plan helps. If you have a rough idea of what you want to do, if you have a rough idea of like, well, this is the direction I want to go, I think you should have a direction, not necessarily a plan. I've never had a plan in my life. Almost just let life take you the way it needs to go, but have a bit of purpose, have a bit of direction, have a bit of intent. That's important, yeah. And sometimes it is just, what's the task? What do we need to do? Before I posted, I was filming all the time. And the only thing, not the only thing, that's a lie, but the thing that was on my mind most of the time, most of my days, is like, we got to post. We got to somehow eventually post all these videos. You can't just record and store. Yeah, sure, it's great. You're learning things along the way. But at the end of the day, the only action you've got to do is figure out how you're going to post, how you're going to be brave enough and to have a bit of courage and post. And that's it's that simple. That's the only thing you've got to do. You've got to figure that out. Not, we need to figure out how do we edit? How do we make it all look great? Like me doing these videos every day. Right now, it's low quality. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes I'm talking about absolute nonsense. Sometimes I can't form sentences. Sometimes I can't speak. Sometimes I've got no ideas on my mind. Sometimes I forget my ideas while I'm driving and talking. It's just the beginning. That's what you've also got to understand. But as long as you're acting, you're going to figure it out. you know, the difference from me to a year ago filming, to me, I know when I listen back, I know it's crazy. There's a complete difference. And I look and I go, yeah, that's where I've improved. Yeah, remember that? You see that? Yeah. See what it used to be like. And it's like, yeah, I've only been doing it a year and you've improved so much. So it's like, why has that happened? Because you've acted, because you've just got on with it and said, right, we're going to sit down and chat. You know, sometimes I don't have a thought. Sometimes I've filmed videos and I don't have a thought. And then you come down, you're sitting there, you turn the camera on, and you have a thought. You simply just go, how do you not have a thought? What have you been thinking about all day, yesterday, all week? And then they come to you. But sometimes it's complicated in my head, and it's like, right, we got to have a point. We got to have different examples on this point. Right, what we're going to talk about? How's it going to relate to everyone? No. At the end of the day, I filmed a video yesterday about my diet. Now, I didn't think it was the best video that I filmed, but at the end of the day, I filmed the video. And I'm like, what do you do every day that's a norm to you? Yeah, it's your diet. Well, we'll talk about our diet then. You know, sometimes it's that simple when you want to do something. All you got to do is act. And if I filmed that video when it was awful and it was bad, don't post it. You know, that's what I mean by simple. There's these simple choices and stuff like that that you can do. But yeah, anyway, peace.